The murders that are actually taking place and people taking insurance policies against their family members.
To answer you, and we're going to see a lot of Rosemarys in South Africa because of the system as it's set up. I'm paying 2,000 rand every month. I know that you're worth 2 million. If anything could ever happen to you, you would think I wouldn't orchestrate something? You wouldn't think I wouldn't think of, you know what? If she accidentally dies, I get 6 million. So now I'm broke. I'm sitting thinking, where do I get money?
The dark world of insurance fraud. The prevalence of insurance scam murders is our topic for discussion today. Insurance scam murders has been thrown into the spotlight following the harrowing case of former policewoman Rosemary Ndlovu. Do you remember her? Who was sentenced to life in prison for orchestrating the murders of 6 family members between 2012 and 2018 to reap the insurance payout. As sad as it is, we are here to discuss this issue at length. We are joined by Tabelo David Mameti from MEPT, who's my distinguished guest. He's a seasoned specialist when it comes to insurance. He understands the world that we're actually facing with regards to such issues that are actually happening in our society, David.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you,
to the Forum for Marginalised Industries. For the longest of time, I've been yearning to actually sit down with you and really talk about the subject matter. It is a matter of concern, David.
Yes.
And Bathini David kwenzakalani the murders that are actually taking place and people taking insurance policies against their family members.
I think Cindy, to answer you, and we're going to see a lot of Rosemarys in South Africa because of the system as it's set up. It's set up in the manner that it creates Rosemarys. We know that the economy as we know it today, it's not the best of it. Everybody's struggling. Even those that they look like they are making money, still buying new cars and all those things, beautiful houses at your whatever, they're still struggling. So, as we understand and the depth of us being South African, and mostly let's talk about the black South Africans, what do they do all the time? When they think about my cousin is sick, my cousin is not working, my cousin is not doing this, the first thing that they do, they take a federal policy against you. And the insurance allows that. That puts a target on your back automatically. If you think about it, I don't have money and I see you walking around and I'm thinking now, I've taken a life cover policy against this man and I'm the beneficiary. So you think if I come out and say, you know what, let me do away with Cindy and I'll have 6 million rand, some of my problems will disappear. So that's where the problem comes from.
Yeah.
I think South Africa, we're at the point whereby we're going to see a whole lot of Rosemarys. And not so long, there's another case that it's in the police as well. Similar as Rosemary. This lady, she's been taking policies against other people. And another thing that the agents of the insurance that they sell policies to people should stop doing is to make sure that they should stop chasing profit, salary, and start protecting the lives of people. Because I think they are more driven to make the ends meet of themselves. We understand that. If you check in the government sector, you go get any payslip of any government worker, you'll be shocked. You'll find the person earning 11,000 but is paying almost 2.5. is paying 2,500
For
just for
policies.
insurance. You ask yourself, what is it that you're covering? Do you have a car? No. Do you have a house? No. Then who are you? No, this is for my mother, this is for my sister, this is for my brother, this is for this is for that. Are these people not working? No, these ones are working, but why are you taking the policies against them? I mean, in us black people, today you go to a funeral, you get buried, the first thing people, when they leave, they ask for what? For death certificate. Can we have a copy of it?
To go and claim.
It's fraud, that thing. Did they help you to bury the person that they took a policy for? They didn't. But they're gonna go and claim.
So let's go back to the issue itself. You've unpacked a lot of factors that actually leads to people deciding in some way or form to take up policies. But we have a culture as black people where your family sometimes is a community.
Yes.
And in that regard, you would find that somebody perhaps maybe does not have the means. And David, some family members are not employed. And when it comes to that time, because there is a sense of community, a lot of people, when somebody passes on, they have to be there in support. And Usindi, being the one that is working in the family, will decide that, I'm going to take a cover that will be able to include 20 people, as an example. Because nowadays, that's what we need to talk about, by the way. It is allowed. And innocently so, there are those. But there are those that take an advantage of that system. Your Rosemarys of that world. But what prompts that? What really does prompt a Rosemary from a position? I don't think, let's talk, David. I don't think that Rosemary, do you think that Rosemary decided to take it, or Usindi at first when taking up that policy was thinking, Tapelo, David?
No, I don't think Rosemary was thinking like that. She had a good intentions, I guess, in the beginning of protecting her family, and she ended up finding herself in a financial problem. And the easiest way of getting out of it, it was killing the people that she knows that she's covered.
Sure.
Did she tell them in the first place that I've got a life cover that I've taken against you? I don't think she did. So, I mean, if we say we are a community, my family, it's my community, I need to live amongst them and do everything that a community would do to assist them. When I have to take a funeral plan or a life cover policy against my brother or my sister, I should let them know. I should get into a point to say, my brother, I've taken a life cover policy.
Sure.
And I'm not a beneficiary myself, your spouse, your kids, or whoever. Remember, I'm not taking this life cover policy to protect me.
Yes.
I'm taking it to protect you and your well-being and your family. So why should I be the beneficiary? How do I become a beneficiary of something that I'm doing it for community's sake, for me helping my family?
Why do you think that then there is fear from people not being able to tell you, David, that David had decided to take up a funeral policy against David? Why are we not talking?
Cindy, going back to understanding the funeral space, the insurance space, and anything else. It's a world where there's transparency, there's legislation, there's FSCA, for crying out loud, that regulates the industry. I cannot take a medical aid cover for you while you don't even know that you've got a medical aid. Why should I do that? So when I take a medical aid, what is the first thing that comes to me? I must give you your medical aid card and say, Cindy, now you can go to a hospital, you can go to a doctor and all these things. Why don't I tell you that, Cindy, I've taken a life cover policy against you. Who is the beneficiary?
Yes.
Who do you want to make the beneficiary of this? Why should it be me?
Yay.
While I'm paying the premiums.
Yay.
Isn't it that we are talking about the community of us being black people? I mean, let's not shy away that now, today, in this day and age, what people do, they're even afraid of telling their spouses to say, hey, I've got a life cover of 5 million. They don't even make their spouses beneficiaries.
Am I thinking?
So now, the moment you start to think for the community, why don't it start at home?
David.
You know,
That you decided to take up a police against you, Cindy. But why?
Why?
Why would you be afraid to actually tell me?
You see, I should tell you to say, hey, I've got this policy statement, I've got that, I've got, so that we make sure that everything and everybody understands that, you know what, hey, I've got a policy.
Sure.
If anything ever happens to me, you can go to Cindy, she's paying for it. Or to David or whatsoever. Now, another biggest scam that is happening is that people take life covers and they don't make their spouses and their kids the beneficiaries. They make their families. They take the brother and the sister. Now, you get to the time whereby that thing that must be claimed, anything like that, who's going to claim it? Who's there as a beneficiary? It's not my child. People are scared. They don't understand the world of insurance, so they should be taught to say, listen, you need to be fair and frank. That's why they give you a piece of paper that proves you've got a policy that looks like this way. So that anything, should it happen to you, somebody else could go and claim for that. But now, what we do, we live in that world whereby we're thinking, Cindy might kill me, or whatever, or so and so, this might happen.
Sure.
So, but at the end of the day, is that the reality that we're living in South Africa? Yes, it's true. Hence I said, we're going to see a whole lot of Rosemarys. It's not going to end now, that Rosemary issue. And until our economy gets better, until people can realize that the 200 rand I have in my pocket shouldn't last me for 5 days, can even last me for 5 minutes, then I'm fine. I still have another one.
So in cases where you find that typical Charlotte takes up a policy and claims fraudulently, so gets away with it, right? And then they decide that it's going to become a business. And it is happening. There are cases and cases where you find that there's a lot of people that have taken up those policies, and they've claimed and have gotten away with it. But what is the insurance industry doing? Because it actually leads to a huge financial loss. I think, although you are saying that these guys are there to make profit, but at the same time, if you really look at it on the other end, there's losses that are being made into billions with regards of this thing. So where is the insurance industry with regards to this? I
mean, Cindy, what is the insurance thing that they're thinking about? The first thing when they see a claim is to pay it out. And by the way, the insurance industry on its own, they when they see the client coming in and say, we want to claim for this, want to do this, they want to help you because they're there to assist you. That's number one. Number two, they want to pay the claim. Number three, they need to check that is this fraudulent or whatsoever. But because of the process, the way it happens, I mean, they're giving you 48 hours to say, we'll pay you in 48 hours whenever you put in a claim of a funeral plan and things like that.
So it doesn't give you time for you to be able to actually conduct a thorough investigation.
I will just give you an example,
Yeah.
and this is not based on fiction, it's based on the truth that I live with every day. On a daily basis.
Yeah.
As you know, I work within the union space.
Sure.
And I administer most of the processes of them claiming. I mean, the tedious things that we decline, that people come with to say, hey, this person is the father of my child, and I'm a member of this union. This union gives me this benefit. Is your father of your child? It's not your spouse. So it's such things like that we find out there. I mean, understand you spoke about the community in the beginning to say us as black people, families and whatever, we live as community. We live as a commune loving black nation. What is your immediate family? Immediately I tell you that, you think about your mother, your cousins and everybody else. But your immediate family, it's you and your family. I mean, there's a whole lot of things that are happening out there that people are doing that are wrong. But we cannot always blame the insurance companies as much as anything. The agents themselves, they are creator, they are enablers of those things to happen.
How do they do it?
Because they want to make money.
Sure.
Remember when they sell you a policy and you pay, they get paid. So now I come to you and tell you, Cindy, you've got a life cover policy or you've got a funeral plan. Who else can you cover? What do you have their date of birth? Do you have their ID number? I mean, you are my sister. You call me, you say, hey, can I get your ID number? I'll give it to you. You already know my name, you know everything, whatever, you put me there, you're paying for the policy, you are the beneficiary.
Sure.
Why shouldn't we ask to say, you can never be a beneficiary of a policy that you are paying for the third party? Because the moment we do that, people, they will stop taking policies against other people. I mean, why should I pay for your funeral plan or for your life cover or anything for that matter, but on the other end, I'm the one who's going to receive the money? It means I didn't tell you clearly. I'm just waiting for the right time, for the moment. So that's where your Rosemary cases comes in. I mean, let's go now to any black community where we're not talking about people that are earning a whole lot of money. There's poverty there. Now you're walking around the street. I'm paying 2,000 rand every month. I know that you worth 2 million. If anything could ever happen to you, you would think I wouldn't orchestrate something? You wouldn't think I wouldn't think of, you know what? I need to do away with Cindy.
Kunzima. Yes,
but
kunzima.
Ucindy makahamba so lapha endleleni.
She's worth 5 million.
I mean, we need to shy away from such things. Hence, I've said in the beginning, we need to make sure that when I take a policy, it must be a thing that it's informed within the insurance industry. To say, when you take a policy against someone, that someone must be notified. Basically, they should be able to call you and say, Cindy, we are verifying. You Cindy so and so and so, this is your ID number. Yes. Do you know that Tapelo is taking a policy like this and this and this against you? Do you agree or disagree to it?
So are you saying that consumer education is actually, it doesn't talk to the prevailing conditions and circumstances that the insurance industry is finding itself in terms of evolving with lifestyle, social and economic changes? Are you saying that?
I mean, Cindy, I'm saying there's a lot of things that the insurance industry could change, and they are busy doing it, by the way. Most of the underwriters that we work with them, they are busy changing systems, making sure that things are paperless and all these other things that they're busy doing. But I mean, there's still that traditional way of thinking. There's still that way of, you know what, I've got this policy, I've got this, I've got that. So I think within the legislation as well of the FSCA, there should be a clause that is it's put in there that says, if Cindy ever takes a policy against me, number one, Cindy shouldn't be the beneficiary of that policy.
Yes, that's exactly what I wanted to actually even, by the way, you did touch on it.
Yeah.
Because you said that, why is it that, I'm going to be taking insurance against somebody, and then I'm the one that is going to be a beneficiary? Why is it that I'm not making perhaps maybe a family of that person or somebody closer to be a beneficiary, or the wife, or the kids.
So
that's you're right. You're right in that space. So whose responsibility is it for them to be able to actually change? You're saying if that condition can change, then it will assist.
I mean, the underwriters themselves should find themselves changing that,
Yeah.
because remember, when I come to you being a financial advisor and say, Cindy, let me advise you. You have a funeral plan. Do you have a life cover? Do you have a pension fund? Do you do this? Do you do that? In all those things, what is it that I'm looking to make? Money out of you.
Yeah.
So now, hence, I kept on saying the Rosemary issue, until that is changed, it's always going to continue. Because of when the hunger comes, a friend of mine, borrowing from him, he said to me, when the poor are still existing, the rich, they will never sleep. Because of when poor people are poor, you cannot be baking bacon next door, knowing very well that Cindy's eating bacon next door, and me, I don't have that bacon. You think what I'm going to do? I'm going to jump that wall. Exactly my point. If you create a problem, find a solution towards it. To say why I don't want to see a lot of Rosemarys, because they will be there. And the thing that will bring you a lot of Rosemarys is exactly that thing of saying, what is it that I consumed? What did I buy? I bought a funeral plan for Cindy. It's 110,000 rand. Or I've got a 2 million rand life cover against Cindy, something like that. If she accidentally dies, I get 6 million. I've got disability against Cindy. If she breaks a leg, you understand? So now I'm broke. I'm sitting thinking, where do I get money? Obviously, when I look at you and thinking the situation that I'm in, I cannot be out of it. I mean, going back to the issue of black people having that community, we know today there's people clearly in us, black people, that they will go by izinyoga and do all sorts of things. And one day that thing will say, sacrifice your family member. They will do it. What more then? I mean, we cannot run away from that fact that people are used in a lot of ways today. So when we have that open door, what people are going to do? They're going to use it.
They use the opportunity.
They will use the opportunity. Government is employing more than 1.something million workers. Go to all of them. I'm not saying one, all of them. You would find that I'm earning 11 or 12,000, whatever, a month. But my policies, they tried to say, no, in Parcel, you're not allowed to pay certain amount of funeral or life cover, or whatever. Does that help? They still add.
They add.
They fail on adding your own Parcel. Guess where they go? They go to debit order.
Sure.
So it's a problem. It's a problem that this country is facing. So how are we going to deal with it? We need people that can advise people correctly. You cannot come to me and say, David, I want to take a policy against Cindy and I just signed because I want to make money. I'll ask you who sent it to you. Did you tell Cindy? And if you say no, I'm like, okay, no, it's fine. I'm not going to proceed with this. Find someone else that can do it. Because of that's being humane. It's been a person that understands that, why are you taking this policy against Cindy? Hence you find
somebody will ask you, David, why is the system allowing me to take policy against Cindy?
Yeah, but now the system needs to be changed.
Yeah.
And who's going to change it? If we don't see that problem, to say there is a problem, why don't you change the system? Because of this system allows this. It's like now, I mean, imagine going to a hospital and telling all the person, everybody that is sick, then say, let me sign you on a funeral plan. There's no waiting period. What are the chances? That's why there's a 6 months waiting period, isn't it? Imagine walking into a hospital and you get there, you're like, okay, guys, all of you, come. Let me sign you on a funeral policy. There's no waiting period. What would happen?
Oh my goodness.
Just imagine. I mean, that would be something that it's a taboo. That's why it's not done. That's why if you come to me in a hospital and I'm sick, I'm laying on the bed, you like sign this is for funeral. What? I'm like, no, it means I'm dead. So that's why I'm saying to you, your Rosemary cases, they're not gonna end. They'll always be there. And then the only thing that will end this is to change the legislation. If I want to take a policy against Cindy, Cindy must know.
So we've got this scam, this particular one of the funeral that we actually spoke about. I've also heard that now there is collusion with your undertakers on a similar trajectory, where there's claiming of bodies and for funeral claims and stuff. How does that work?
Cindy, what I'll tell you is that when the world change and try to give you something better, there's people who will always try to define the system, who will find out to say whatever. I've heard of such a story whereby people, they'll buy bodies. They'll go to an undertaker and buy a body and declare somebody dead, even if that person is not dead. And all those things, they change and whatsoever and whatever things. I mean, look at your undertaking business in the first place. Is it regulated?
No.
Do you see people going around and say, are you FSP registered? Are you a proper financial services?
Well, they're supposed to be regulated, right? They are supposed to be regulated, but I think the FSCA, according to my understanding, is that it is really trying to regulate that sector, but it seems like it's meeting resistance.
Can I tell you?
I just needed to actually deal with exactly that. There is resistance in getting that sector to come on board. Because when regulation means that you're going to be policed.
Can I tell you something that
Please.
it's difficult to regulate those guys? Because number one is this. Remember, in insurance, there's a good risk, there's a bad risk.
Okay.
So now, they sell policies as 10+1. You come with your winner, and then you add your other 10 families. You pay whatever amount they say you must pay.
So when they say 10+1, David, so go by 10+1, so Cindy, an immediate family, an extended family.
You can add anybody.
So I can add anybody.
Anybody.
Okay.
So now, the biggest challenge is this. They take the bad risk. All the old people that are there on that list that you've given them, they'll say you can add your father and whatever, even if they're 80 or 90. They want to now pass it down to the underwriters. They will take it and say, no, these ones, they're young, so that they can be regulated in a little bit. Then they add them on they take them to the insurance, to the underwriters. Hence you go now these days to most of the underwriters, you say, I'm an undertaker, I want to take this and this and this. They will say, give us a list of your people. They're checking. They will see, this is a bad risk, it's not a good risk. Then they will decline to say, no, we don't want this.
So is that the reason why you would find that now there is an issue between underwriters and funeral parlors? So it stems from exactly that they don't want to give it data.
Exactly, it's your Rosemary case.
Yes.
They understand it themselves to say, if Cindy, remember those guys, what they give you the savings, not money. They give you equipment that they already have. You're talking of cars, it's cars that they already have. You're talking of the tent, the chairs, the coffins and stuff. It's things that they already bought, they already have. So, likely, when you go there to claim from them, they tell you, now we give you this standard coffin. When you look at it, like, but I cannot bury this person with this. They say, no, if you want to upgrade, you'll pay 10,000, we can give you that one. You pay 15, we can. They're still making money out of you. They're still making more money out of what you are there for. But when you took the policy, they didn't tell you. They're not giving you money. Remember, they're giving you the savings.
Yeah.
So now, in your dark world of the insurance part,
sure,
they hiding to say they can have a book of 5,000 people
I get you.
and they go insure 100. According to the FSCA,
The bad ones,
yes.
the ones
These ones are they might
presumably, because of age. Then you're thinking, good, a person. The likelihood is that the person is just not going to live longer. Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying? So as well themselves, they are cheating the insurance system. So I'm saying, in all honesty, you'll always find people that they will be one step ahead of the system. The system constantly needs to change.
It needs to evolve, yeah.
I mean, let's be honest right now. Let's go back and talk about home. Let's say here David has got a 10 million rand life cover. He's paying X amount of money. I made my sister a beneficiary. And now my sister finds out that I'm a beneficiary. And then a spouse to my sister says to my sister, but you know, if your brother happens to...
Yay! I hear that. Yes, yeah.
If your brother happens to, we are 10 million richer.
Yeah.
We broke now, we don't have money. Hence I'm saying to say, people should put themselves in situations that your life, you don't put a target at your back. I mean, if I live with my spouse, I should trust my spouse with anything and everything. I wouldn't sleep with a person and eat the food that they cook or do anything with them and still think that they want to kill me. Why? What am I doing with them? It means I'm not fully trusting them. So, hence your Rosemary stories, they come forth to say, what is the legislation supposed to do to stop your Rosemary? How many policies does Cindy allowed to have? What is it that should be done to make sure that Cindy's not paying to make sure that other people's death, I mean, is benefits? I mean, I was mediating a case whereby a guy buried his mother, finishing after that. People, they came and said death certificate says you're not getting none. There was a meeting based on that. More than 50 people, they wanted one piece of paper.
So that means all of them took insurance against that person that passed on.
That person's mother. Did they help?
Oh my goodness.
Did they contribute anything towards that? I mean, the funeral is finished.
And they're coming to you now, and they're asking for a death certificate.
It's Rosemary. If you check it, it's still Rosemary.
Oh my goodness.
So you're not going to stop Rosemary's in South Africa. They will be there. The only way you would stop a Rosemary in South Africa is to change the legislation to say, if I ever take a policy against Cindy, Cindy must know that I've got a policy like this, and Cindy can nominate a beneficiary of that policy. Isn't it that you want to help me?
Isn't it that the other way around, you're not going to make money as an insurance company?
No,
if you look, let's look at it this way. The business itself, and in terms of how things are going in this country, business is there to exploit.
Good.
And in that process means I need to make money. And if there's a loophole, I use that loophole. And insurers are insured themselves, right? So whatever it is that you lose from an insurance perspective, as much as we can talk about billions, they're also insured.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So that is money. So whether there's a societal sketch that actually takes place, and these situations happen, most of the time, greed in business contributes. So, David, here's a human issue, because this is a human issue. And here's business is making money. And we are saying, and you are saying, rightfully so, that there needs to be legislation in place that governs such practices. Mara, can you see the disparity? So how do we deal with such situations?
I mean, Cindy, we know business is there to make profit.
Sure.
There's no business that wants to run like a non-profit organization. All of us will.
But even them get donations. They
all of us, all of us, we want to make money. We need it. It's not a.
apply. We put in the application. You know, we've got kids that you are looking after.
You get my point. So, I mean, the challenge here is that profit is greed.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And we cannot change it. We even if we like to sit down and say, hey, let's make 10% profit this year. It's always greed. It's always us looking for more. Hence, you find in a business space, there's strategic meetings, there's this, they all talk about one thing. How do we make money? So now,
that's true.
If we want to change the insurance industry, we must teach people. We must educate people. People must know what is it that you're getting yourself into, so that you don't have temptations.
I get you.
I mean,
100%.
Let's go to the law of the gun. If you want to buy a firearm today, you cannot just go to a shop and buy one and you go. There is a process that you need to go through. They need to check, are you mentally stable? Are you good? You don't have any criminal thingy. You don't have this, you don't have that. Why can't we have that? Because of, imagine the fact of the matter of me assessing you, sitting down with you and telling you that, listen, you don't need to pay for a funeral plan of this much. You can still be buried at this much, and it will reduce you to put more money into your pocket. You don't have to pay so much for your life cover for this because of you've got this of that. You understand what I'm saying? I'll be assisting you as a financial advisor to say, hey, look, you need to adjust. The economy has changed. Your 10,000 rand is not going to bury you anymore. You need 30. You need this, you need that. So now, I constantly in contact with you as my client. I'm that guy who always talk to you to say, this is what is happening, this is what's not happening. So now, why can't we teach the people that are selling these products to people? To say, when a client says this, don't take it. I mean, the insurance companies, they're taking a knock. You know, they employ people my way. You go there every day, every week, there's people interviewed. The very same people, they were working at Atlanta. They don't make profit,
So
they
rotate,
do this,
they
they go
rotate.
to another insurance company. They apply, they get whatever. So as well themselves, the agents, they understand now the fraud of the insurance industry. Remember, if now I say Cindy has sold Tapelo a policy that paid Cindy 200,000 out, and Tapelo was colluding with Cindy to make sure that that policy goes through, everything was fine, I paid only one premium because of Cindy promised to give it to me, then I cancel that. There's a clawback clause in a thing. What do? They run away. They resign and go work for other companies. So we need to be finding out these agents themselves, because that's why your Rosemary's, if you look at it, the insurance business, it needs to sell. So where the problem is, it's in the seller than the provider of the goods that you are selling. Because of now, when I'm sitting with you, I'll be telling you, Cindy, you know what, you've got a life cover already, but your sister, your brother, don't you have one that is not good? Why don't we add him on the life cover? But on the end of the day, I want to make money. I want to make sure I meet my target.
So when we come back, I want us to look at other cases and other modus operandis that are out there. Because it's your Rosemary's and your others that are actually happening. But there's a lot more. So when we come back, can we dissect it?
A little bit.
And then from there, then we could be able to take it off.
Okay.